What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. We continue here with my 2024 predictions for the upcoming 2024 college football season. The LSU Tigers are up next. LSU coming off a 10-3 year last year in 2023. It was a good season, but a lot of LSU fans, and I think a lot of other fans besides LSU fans, were predicting them to win the SEC West last year. That was not my prediction. I had LSU probably finishing second right behind Alabama, but this team I think had a really good season still. They won 10 games at least. You look at their roster for 2024, my thoughts on this team for the upcoming season. Jaden Daniels, of course, gone at quarterback. That's obviously going to be a huge loss. I mean, obviously, Jaden Daniels carried this LSU team for the last couple years. Obviously won the Heisman, which was a big accomplishment. Now he is gone. I mean, LSU does have options at quarterback. They got Garrett Nussmeier. I think he's probably going to be the starting quarterback for LSU. That's pretty much my prediction there. We did see the quarterbacks go out in the spring. I think offensively they'll still be pretty good, and then defensively I think they'll be a little bit better. They were not really good on that side of the football last year, so I think LSU has a chance to be a very talented team coming up this season. Maybe not the same kind of team as they were in the last couple years, and maybe not the same explosive offense, but either way, this is going to be a very talented LSU team. So let's get to the schedule now for 2024. This is the schedule for LSU. Again, they were 10-3 last year in 2023, so let's go game by game now and give you a record prediction here for the LSU Tigers for 2024. First game of the season is a big one, and it's at Las Vegas. It will be against USC on September the 1st, the Sunday night before Labor Day, and this is on Labor Day weekend. It's right there, the Sunday night before Labor Day. This is going to be a very competitive game, of course, against the Big Ten and USC. Of course, it's kind of weird to say the Big Ten now. They used to be in the Pac-12, but now they're in the Big Ten this year. I think USC is going to be a little bit better this year, but, defensively they do have some question marks. They weren't really that great last year. You got two different quarterbacks going at it here in this game. USC lost Caleb Williams at quarterback. I think the offense is going to be pretty good for the Trojans, but ever since this game kind of came out on the schedule, I've kind of been favoring LSU just a little bit here. I just think LSU is definitely the more talented team. Both offenses, I think, are pretty even. I think defensively, LSU has an advantage. And I think that's what's going to get the Tigers the win. It is going to be a competitive game. It's the opening game of the season, but I think LSU does win it here. I think they definitely have the more talented roster, so I'm going to go with LSU here to knock off USC in this one. It's a close game, but I'm going to go with the Tigers here, and I got them starting out 1-0, and then they take care of business against Nicholls University, so that puts their record here at 2-0. Next game is on the road here at South Carolina on September the 14th. Tough road game to start out your SEC play. This is definitely a trap game here for LSU in the early part of the season. South Carolina's got a pretty tough schedule this year. Don't know how good this team is going to be. I mean, offensively, they did lose some key players there, but this might be a low-scoring type game. I think South Carolina has a pretty good defense this year, but LSU just has a lot more talent on their roster. So with that being said, I think the first half of this game is probably close. But I think the Tigers, they do pull away here in the second half. And this is actually the first true road game of the season for LSU. But they come away with the victory, and I think they beat South Carolina here on the road. And that puts their record here at 3-0. Next game at home against UCLA, another Big Ten opponent here on September 21st. Again, this will be a home game here for the Tigers. UCLA going with the coaching change. This game probably would be a lot bigger if Chip Kelly was still down there at UCLA. I definitely could expect the Bruins to go into the fourth quarter and compete with this team, but with a first-year head coach and all the roster, a little bit turnover, I think LSU does, favored. I think this game does favor LSU by maybe a couple touchdowns. This game probably will be close in the first half, but I think second half LSU might pull away in this one. But playing at home, the Tigers definitely probably will win this one. So I'm going to go with LSU to knock off UCLA in this one, and that puts their record at 4-0. And then they take care of business against South Alabama here on September 28th. So that puts their record now at 5-0. And then they get a bye week here before playing a big one against Ole Miss here on October 12th. This is a pretty good spot for a bye week for LSU. I mean, I've already done my Ole Miss video from yesterday. I did pick LSU to win this one just because of the home field advantage. And I think the Tigers are going to come out fired up for this one. They get revenge on Ole Miss from last year's game. It's a shootout probably between these two teams. But I think LSU's defense probably has what it takes to stop this Ole Miss offense from scoring a little bit of points. And I think LSU does get revenge here on Ole Miss. And they win this game and get revenge on the Rebels from last year. And that puts their record here at 6-0. And then they go on the road to play Arkansas here on October 19th. I kind of wish the Razorbacks and Tigers were playing in the last game of the regular season, but instead they do play Oklahoma at the end of the year, but they will play Arkansas here on the road. Not going to be an easy one here. This game was pretty close last year. You know, Arkansas did lose a lot of production from last year. This is going to be quite young of an Arkansas team. I don't know how good they're going to be. I think LSU definitely is the more talented team, but just like the South Carolina game, I think it's going to be close in the first half. I think second half the Tigers will pull away in this one, and I think they win this one here on the road. I know that's a rivalry game. Anything can happen. I know LSU can probably slip up in that one, but I think LSU definitely is the more talented team, and I think they do beat Arkansas here on the road, so that puts their record here at 7-0. And then they play another road game against Texas A&M here on October 26th, so they got back-to-back road games here with Arkansas and Texas A&M. I think the Aggies are going to be pretty good this year. They have a lot of experience coming back on both sides of the football. They definitely have a lot of talent, to match up with this LSU team. This is definitely one of those games where I think LSU slips up in. I mean, they're coming in here undefeated. I think Texas A&M is going to be really fired up for this one. The players will be fired up. The coaching staff's going to be fired up. And even the fans are going to be fired up. And I think it's going to favor Texas A&M a lot. This is a tough one to call, obviously. I'm going to go with the Aggies here, though, to pull off the upset. And I think they give LSU their first loss of the season. Again, it's a very tough place to play on the road at Kyle Field. And so I think LSU does lose here, a close one to Texas A&M here on the road. And then after that, they get another bye week here before playing Alabama at home on November 9th. Obviously, it's a big game every year when the Tigers and the Crimson Tide go at it. This is a revenge game here for LSU. They get a bye week before playing this game, it seems like every year now these days. I've already done my Alabama video from last week, and I did pick LSU to win this one. I think it is a close game, but, playing at home, I think LSU, it does favor them a little bit here. It is a 50-50 game, in my opinion, just because of the new coaching change for Alabama, and I think LSU does get, or actually gets revenge, I should say. Yeah, they get revenge here on Alabama, and I think they win this one here at home in Death Valley, and they get to 8-1 on the season. And then the next game is on the road here at Florida on November 16th. I think Florida's going to be a very talented team. It's just really about their schedule. I know a lot of people are not expecting Florida to be really good this year. This is a very talented Florida team. It really just does come down to their schedule, but this is another game that's definitely a trap game here for LSU. I mean, it's obviously a rivalry game. You never know what can happen. It seems like LSU has dominated this series as of late. Now with Jaden Daniels gone and with a different quarterback, I think Florida does have a chance to knock off LSU in this game, and that's what I'm going to go with here. I think Florida does upset LSU here. This is probably another game where I think LSU slips up in. So with that being said, I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to choose Florida here to upset LSU. I don't really feel confident with this pick, but I know a lot of fans are not going to agree with this pick, but I think Florida definitely playing at home, it does favor them just a little bit, and I think they give LSU their second loss of the season. And then LSU plays Vanderbilt here after that on November 23rd, and then they take care of business in this game. Don't really expect much of a fight from Vanderbilt. I think LSU bounces back with a win over, actually, like I said, with a win over Vanderbilt, and they get a bounce-back win after that loss to Florida, and that puts their record here at 9-2. And then the final game of the season is against Oklahoma here at home on November 30th. Like I said earlier, I kind of wish this was Arkansas instead of being Oklahoma. The last time these two teams played, they met each other as non-conference opponents in the playoff. LSU dominated that game, of course. Now they're meeting each other as SEC opponents. This is a home game for LSU. I kind of expect a low-scoring type game because both defenses, I think, are pretty even. End of the day, though, home field advantage will favor the Tigers in this one, so I think LSU LSU probably maybe pulls away in the second half perhaps, but I think it probably can go into the fourth quarter either way. But I think LSU does win here in a close one over Oklahoma, and that puts their final record here at 10-2. So I got them winning their final game of the season. So my official prediction for LSU is 10-2 for 2024. And that might be a chance to make the playoff. I mean, with that record, they might have a chance to make the playoff. You never know. They also could probably be sitting right there, maybe third or fourth in the SEC standings. But I think LSU is still going to be a pretty good team, even without Jaden Daniels at quarterback. Again, you look at those two games with Texas A&M and Florida. If they win both of those, maybe one of those games, they can probably go 11-1, which really wouldn't shock me. But if they go 9-3, maybe 8-4, that would definitely be a disappointment. They do got some tough road games on here with South Carolina, Arkansas, and then of course they have USC there that in that non-conference game in the beginning of the year. So, but my official prediction for LSU is 10-2 for 2024. Give me your thoughts on this LSU team down in the comments below. What do you think their record will be for 2024? Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports Channel.